Hello, I am the political dunce and I wish to offer my take on the superdelegates, who received an unpleasant spotlight in the 2016 Democratic presidential primary.
So Democrats, when some jackass goads you into drunk dialing a superdelegate in the middle of the night, instead of saying, "Hey bitch, switch your vote," say, "Hey bitch, thank you."
I didn't say they didn't deserve it.
For those of you who do not know,
Superdelegates were installed into the Democratic Party after Jimmy Carter lost to Ronald Reagan in the 1980 presidential election. They were added to give the Democratic Party more control over the nomination process. So far, they have yet to snatch the nomination away from the presumptive nominee. So, why did they fall under such scrutiny? Let's compare Hillary Clinton's run for the Democratic nomination in both 2008 and 2016. On both occasions, she started out as the clear favorite. However, in both races, one of her opponents began chipping away at her popularity. The more you got to know them, the more likely you were to vote for the challenger than the Queen of the Clintonal. In 2016, the process did not occur fast enough, and thus the Clintonal prevailed. Early on in that contest, Bernie Sanders was extremely close to winning Iowa, losing only because his side lost 6 out of 6 coin tosses. In New Hampshire, however, he won that state in a landslide, and by landslide, I mean almost lost to the Clintonal because of the intervention of the superdelegates. Probably the most common defenses I have seen for the superdelegates was that the Democratic Party knows better how to win general elections, and that Hillary Clinton had a better shot.
One way or another, something will go wrong.
Now, let's look at the guy who managed to win the general election.
President of the United States. I didn't start it. I didn't start it. Sir, with all due respect, that's the argument of a 5-year-old. Written by a nice reporter. Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember. There was blood coming out of her eyes. Blood coming out of her wherever.
The dear goddess, the Democratic Party's anointed electable candidate, couldn't beat that. And don't give me the popular vote remark. For one thing, she knew the rules going in. For another, had Rubio, for example, been the Republican nominee, I believe he would have won the popular vote as well. After all, a fair chunk of Clinton's votes were anti-Trump votes rather than pro-Clintonal votes. Not being Trump was what Clinton campaigned on. Another defense of the superdelegates has been this.
Never tried to override the will of the voters.
So, why even have them? Logically, there are only 2 reasons for having superdelegates. 1, to override the will of the people. 2, to threaten number 1. Watching the primary unfold in 2016, I got the impression that even if Bernie Sanders managed to beat Hillary Clinton in the pledged delegate count and the total vote count, the superdelegates would dig in and snatch the nomination away from Bernie Sanders and give it to the Clintonal. In the scope of many states, that was the case. In 2008, the superdelegates were willing to switch. However, Obama did not prosecute Wall Street bankers. He built his cabinet out of Citigroup clay and signed into law a healthcare plan once promoted by the right-wing Heritage Foundation. The superdelegates saw Obama as a tolerable alternative to Hillary Clinton. Would they have seen Bernie Sanders in a similar light? Now, let's assume that the superdelegates would have been willing to go for Sanders. There is still the fact that they overwhelmingly supported Clinton early on in the race. Winning the Clintonal states that otherwise felt the burn. Why vote for someone if rich people smoking in a back room somewhere are just going to override your voice anyway? The mere illusion that they would overturn the vote probably deterred many Sanders supporters from turning out. hurting his primary vote tally and pledged delegate count. By how much, we can never know, but I certainly believe that the superdelegates were more influential than the likes of Pokemon Go, or $10 or $100,000 in Facebook ads. By comparison, the Clinton all had $20 billion at their disposal. Therefore, I believe that 100% of superdelegates should be removed. An argument could be made for 80%.